Hello everybody, my name is Ilya.
And my name is Tyler. Together we make up Coffee, a couple that loves to play board games.
And today we'll be teaching you how to play March of the Ants Evolved Edition.
March of the Ants Evolved Edition is designed by Ryan Swisher and Tim Eisner. It's published by Weird City Games, who helped sponsor this video.
Let's go to the table and let's learn how to play. As always, you'll begin by setting up. You'll place a gray tunnel in the center of your play area. Then place a score round track with a 4-round side face up nearby, and place a strength track beneath it. Place the round marker on round 1 and the centipede size marker on the space corresponding to your player count. Place the centipede strength marker nearby. Next, you'll prepare the hex stack. Shuffle the starting hexes and place 2 per player into a stack. Then randomly select 2 beyond the meadow hexes, or 3 in a 4 to 5 player game, and shuffle them together with all the standard hexes. Place these into a stack and place the starting hexes you prepared earlier on top. Next, you'll place the food centipede and wormhole tokens nearby. Then you'll shuffle the rest tiles and place them in a face-down stack. You'll place the Great Defender rest tile and reveal rest tiles from the stack so that the total amount of rest tiles in play is equal to your player count. Next, you'll randomly select 2 reward tiles from each level and create a stack, placing the 1 to 2 tiles on top. Reveal the top reward tile and place it in the center of the Great Tunnel. Then, shuffle the ant deck and place it near the play area. You're now ready for the player setup. Each player will choose a color and take the 36 ant tokens of that color, and 1 nest mat which you'll place star side face up. You'll place 4 of your ants into the larva chamber and 2 into the Great Tunnel. Place the rest to the side of your board. These are eggs. You'll then place your score and strength markers on the star spaces of the corresponding tracks. Finally, you'll receive 2 food tokens and draw 3 cards. You'll choose a starting player and you're now ready to play. March of the Ants is a civilization game in which each player will grow an ant colony. You'll explore the meadow, gather resources, evolve a unique ant species, and march into battle. You'll score colony points by expanding your territory, evolving your ants, meeting colony goals, and battling. At the end of the game, the player with the most colony points will win. Now, this game is played in 4 rounds, each with 4 phases. The worker phase, where you'll take turns taking actions. The soldier phase, where battles are fought in contested locations. The queen phase, where you harvest resources and feed your ants. And the slumber phase, where you score points for your achievements during the round. Let's go through each of these phases in detail. The worker phase. Here you'll take turns in clockwise order, choosing an action to perform. When you take an action, the player to your left and right may be able to take a reaction. Let's go through each of these. Explore. This action will cost you 1 food. You'll draw a hex and place it connected by a tunnel to an adjacent location where you have at least 1 ant. When placing, you may block its tunnels or the tunnels of other tiles, as long as 1 tunnel is connected to a tunnel where you have an ant. If the hex has a centipede, you'll place the centipede token onto it and increase the centipede size by 1. If it has a wormhole, you'll place a wormhole token onto it. Ants may move between 2 hexes that have wormhole tokens on them. Once placed, you may move any number of your ants from any adjacent connected locations into the explored hex. You must move at least 1 ant. When moving, you'll fill any of the collection sites present on the tile. The collection site on the hex with a different shape is the control site. The player whose ant is in this collection site controls the hex. Now, in clockwise order, the player to the left and to the right of the active player will take the reaction. The reaction for Explore is the ability to move 1 larva from your larva chamber to a hex you inhabit, or the Great Tunnel. In order to inhabit a hex, you need to have an ant in any of its collection sites. Having an ant on the outskirts does not count. Forage. You'll spend 1 food to draw 3 cards and then discard any 1 card from your hand. We'll talk about the different types of cards you see when we discuss the play a card action. The reaction for Forage is gaining 1 larva. The players to the left and the right of the active player will receive 1 larva. To gain a larva, you'll move 1 of the ants from the side of your board into the larva chamber. March. You'll spend 1 food to take 6 steps with your larva and or ants. Steps let you move your ants around the meadow and move your larva into the meadow where they become ants. Taking steps is also always optional. You can take up to 6 steps in this action. Here are the options you'll have. 1. You may move 1 ant from any location to an adjacent connected location. When moving, you may inhabit collection sites if any are open. Otherwise, your ant will be present on the outskirts. 2. You may move one ant from a location with a wormhole to any other location with a wormhole. 3. You may move one ant from a collection site to another open collection site in the same hex. Or 4. You may move one larva from your larva chamber to any hex you inhabit or the Great Tunnel. Again, as a reminder, in order to inhabit a hex, you need to have an ant present at any of the collection sites within that hex. Now for the reaction for this action. Each neighbor may either take one ant step or move one larva into the Great Tunnel. Play a card. When taking this action, you'll play one card from your hand. This action will not require food as the other 3, however cards will have a cost shown on them that you'll need to pay. The cost is shown on the top left of each card. It'll either be larva, ants, or a combination of the two. When paying larva, you'll remove larva from your larva chamber and return them to your supply. When paying ants, you'll remove them anywhere from the meadow into your supply. Now, there are 3 different types of cards you'll see. Let's run through them. Event cards. These are one-time effect cards. When played, you'll execute the effect on the card and place the card into the discard pile. Here are a few examples of events you'll come across. Colony goals. These provide a unique scoring objective only for yourself. They'll be evaluated each slumber phase. Additionally, some will give a bonus effect when played as denoted by this symbol. When you play a colony goal card, you'll place it face up to the right of your player board. You may at most have 2 colony goal cards in play. If you play another, you must first choose one of the existing 2 to discard. Finally, evolutions. These cards are played into your player board to the head, thorax, and abdomen, essentially evolving your ant species, granting unique abilities and a bonus. Thoraxes will affect the worker phase, the heads will affect the soldier phase, and the abdomens will affect the queen phase. When you play an evolution card, you'll place it on top of all other evolution cards in that body segment. Only the card visible will grant you the unique ability. However, the amount of cards in each segment will contribute to the segment bonus. The segment bonus is different for each and is based on how many cards you have present. For each card in the head space, you'll gain +1 strength for each battle. For each card in the thorax space, you'll choose one different reaction from the 4 standard actions at the end of the worker phase. And finally, for each card in the abdomen space, your food feeds 1 additional ant during the queen phase. We'll mention these again in a moment when they come up in the corresponding phases. Now, if there's ever multiple abilities that need to be triggered, you'll resolve your abilities in your preferred order, and all abilities between players in clockwise order starting with the active player. Additionally, anytime you complete an entire evolved ant body, meaning you placed one of each of the 3 evolution cards, you'll immediately gain 3 points. You can do this multiple times, but each card may only be used to complete 1 ant body. Now, if you want more clarity on the cards, feel free to reference the relevant sections in your rulebook. The reaction for play a card is each neighbor may discard a card and draw a new one from the deck. Last, we have the rest action. You may not take this action as the first action of the worker phase unless you have no food in the supply or cards in your hand. When taking this action, you'll collect one of the rest tiles and receive its rewards. On your subsequent turns, you may only take the rest action, meaning once you've rested, that is all you can do on future turns. Now, there's no reactions for the rest action. It's also important to clarify that you're not limited to one rest tile. On future turns, when resting again, you'll choose another face-up rest tile and collect it and its rewards. Now, when a player takes the last face-up rest tile, they'll finish their turn, and the active player marker will pass clockwise. You'll now proceed to the end of the worker phase. Here, all players starting with the active player will take reactions equal to the amount of thorax evolution cards you have in play. You may choose any of the 4 standard reactions, and you may not choose the same reaction twice. After everyone has done this, you'll proceed to the soldier phase. First, you'll resolve the Great Tunnel. If 2 or more players' ants are present, you'll resolve a battle. Then you'll resolve battle for each contested hex in ascending order of the hex number. Remember, in order for a tile to be contested, 2 or more players need to be present there, and at least 1 ant needs to be on the outskirts. Let's go through the battle steps. First, you'll determine the defender. In the Great Tunnel, this is the player with a Great Defender rest tile. While in the hexes, this is the player in the control site. Next, you'll declare your strength. Each player will count the ants in the hex and add the number of head evolution cards they have. You'll set your marker to the corresponding number on the strength track. Step 3. Ferocity. Starting with a player to the left of the defender and proceeding clockwise, each player may choose to play one card from their hand face down. After everyone has done so, you'll reveal the cards and add the ferocity to your strength. The number of pips in this symbol is how much strength you'll add. Step number 4. Evaluate the outcome. The player with the greatest strength is the winner. In the Great Tunnel, you'll also determine the second and third place players as well, as spoils will be granted to both. Now as for ties, starting with a defender, the ties are won in clockwise order. Next, you'll evaluate the casualties. First, you'll add up all the ants from all the losing players. The winning player will lose 1 ant for every 2 ants of the losing players. They will always at least have 1 ant present, the lone survivor. The winning player will assign 1 casualty for each of their own ants to all losing players, distributing the casualty as evenly as possible in clockwise order. Now both casualties are evaluated prior to any player losing ants. Then, the spoils. In the Great Tunnel, each player will collect the spoils as shown on the reward tile. In the hexes, the winner of the battle will gain 1 point and may move 1 ant in the hex into the control site, pushing any occupant to the outskirts. Finally, cleanup. Players will take turns moving all their ants in the outskirts of that hex to a vacant collection site in clockwise order starting with the winner. You'll then reset the strength track to 0 and discard all cards played during battle. Now if there's a centipede present in the hex is considered contested and a battle will resolve prior to the ant battles. This battle is similar with a few exceptions. The defender here is the player with the most ants. Then to set the centipede strength, you'll reference the centipede size track. For ferocity, the centipede will draw 1 card from the ant deck and advance its strength equal to the ferocity value of the revealed card. If it's a 1, it's considered an unpredictable foe. You'll advance the strength by 1 and draw another card adding to its strength once again. Now when resolving the outcome, if you've defeated the centipede, you'll remove the centipede and half of your ants rounded up. You'll receive the spoils listed on the centipede size track, as well as the ability to move an ant into the control site, pushing any occupant to the outskirts. If the centipede wins, you'll remove all of your ants. After the centipede battle, you'll check if the hex is still contested. If the centipede is still present, it'll take on the next player. Or if the centipede is defeated and the hex is still contested, you'll resolve an ant battle. Once all battles in all contested hexes and the Great Tunnels have been resolved, you'll proceed to the Queen phase. Here you'll first gain resources from collection sites your ants inhabit. This can be food, larvae, cards, or colony points. Then you'll feed your ants. Each food can feed up to 4 ants in the meadow. For each abdomen card you have, you'll be able to feed an additional ant. If you fail to feed 1 or more ants, you'll lose a total of 1 point. Additionally, your larva does not need to be fed. After all ants have been fed, you'll decide if your queen will produce food, larva, or a mix of both. Each player will choose twice to gain 1 food or 3 larvae. Now, the Slumber Phase. First, you'll score 1 colony point for each inner meadow hex you control. All hexes adjacent to the Great Tunnel are part of the inner meadow. They do not need to be connected to the Great Tunnel to score. Then you'll score your colony goals. The number of points you gain is based on how well you meet the condition. And finally, you'll prepare for the next round. You'll return the Great Defender rest tile back to the center, and draw a set of new rest tiles from the stack so the total amount of rest tiles is equal to your player count. Then, replace the current reward tile with the topmost of the stack you set aside. Finally, you'll move the round marker and begin the worker phase of the new round. Now you'll keep playing, taking actions, battling, and occupying various hexes until the end of the 4th round. During the 4th round, you will not receive any rewards from the queen for the queen's choice, and if you are not able to feed your ants, you will not be eligible for the endgame awards. When the game ends, you'll evaluate endgame awards. You'll gain 2 points for each if you have the most larvae, the most food, or the most cards. If you're tied in any of these categories, all tied players will receive 1 point instead. You'll now compare your scores and the player with the most points wins. Once you're familiar with a game, feel free to play the Epic game, which adds another round. During setup, you'll use a new side of the board and add an additional 3+ reward tile to the bottom of the stack during the game. During rounds 4 and 5, each of your food will feed up to 3 ants instead of 4 before adding the abdomen bonus. You can also play with 2 players with a variant. If playing with 2 players, you'll get a head start by receiving a hex with your ants already adjacent to the Great Tunnel prior to the start of the game. Additionally, there'll be an old guard of ants present in the Great Tunnel each round. They'll battle you for the spoils. Now, once you're very familiar with the game, feel free to check out the other sides of your player board. These are ancient species. Each ancient species encourages certain styles of play and rewards you for utilizing its powers. Each board will add a considerable complexity, extra unpredictability, and big power swings in the game. You can learn more about each of these by taking a look in your rulebook.
And that's March of the Ants, Evolved Edition.
Do you have any questions? Leave in the comments down below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
And if you found this video helpful, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button if you're new, because we love talking and teaching board games.
And hit that little bell, because then you know when our next videos come out and we can all partake in the joy of board gaming. Now for our question of the day, do you have any fun ant facts?
And fact, leave them in the comments down below.
I have one.
Oh.
If you strip a stick and you let ants run on it and then you lick it, it's sour.
Whoa.
Well, thank you so much for watching and we'll catch you
in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.